Hey y'all, welcome to the Four Friends podcast where faith gets real
And we get loud.
I'm Emma.
I'm Allison.
I'm Lily.
I'm Becca.
Welcome back.
Hello.
Hi.
We've missed y'all.
Yeah, I was gonna say we do miss y'all. How is
Literally.
everybody?
It's been good. Yep, I'm good. Sorry.
That's good.
When you said how is everybody, I thought you were talking to the camera. So
yeah.
like to the people,
Yeah.
and it threw me off. I didn't realize you
No,
were
it's okay.
talking to us. I had a moment.
No, it's okay.
I'm good.
That's good.
That's good. It's been a while.
It has. Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been what, 3 or 4 weeks?
It's
been a long while.
It's been a long time. Long time.
Well, I'm doing fantastic. I've been really,
Oh.
really busy and tired, but good. But really good.
It's good. Same here. I've been good. It's been busy. Yeah, work has been busy, but that's been really good. And then just life. And we've had fun, though. So, yeah.
It's good.
Nice. Yeah, I've done absolutely nothing the last 3 days, but I desperately needed that because
That's
I have
good.
not slowed down in months. So I have enjoyed doing absolutely nothing.
Exciting. Well, I want to share something exciting that we did on Friday. We celebrated Becca.
Yeah.
Her birthday is actually tomorrow.
Yes.
It won't be
Not
tomorrow for
tomorrow for the video, but it's tomorrow as in like tomorrow.
June 11th. if
June
that
11th.
helps.
Her birthday is June
June
11th.
11th.
And we
But
celebrated
her
We did.
with a outdoor movie night
It was so fun.
with inflatable couches.
We did not watch movies.
No, we did not.
We watched like The Summer I Turned Pretty.
We barely watched that. We were like,
barely,
we
but
were like
really
10
we were
minutes
here
in,
for Motorheads.
Yes.
which is really good. Guys.
Really good, really good.
All right, guys. So this week, well, the next couple of weeks, we are going to do something a little bit different on the podcast than what we have done so far, which I'm very excited about. We are going to go through a book of the Bible as if we're doing a Bible study with one another, which we are, and y'all who are watching in or listening in. And we are going to go through my favorite book of the Bible, which is Ruth, which I am very, very excited to go through. And let's just get right into it. I do want to share something that really just spoke out to me from a Bible study that I have done, which is Ruth Fields of Grace by the Daily Grace Co. And they kind of just go, this one is just strictly about Ruth, but the introduction kind of like a synopsis of the whole entire book, which is really good. But this sentence or two that really just stood out to me, I want to share with y'all because I'm like, this is the whole point of Ruth. So let's just go ahead and get right into that. So it says, it is a love story, but not just a love story of Ruth and Boaz. It is a love story of a God who was sovereignly and providentially laying each piece of the story of redemption into place. It is a story of God pursuing and redeeming his people. So the book of Ruth is not really about Ruth and Boaz. It is about God. So, and I'm like, it really is, because when we're going to read through it, we're going to see what all is taking place, who all is in the story, what happens, which direction is Ruth going to go, with her relationship with Boaz. We're going to learn about Naomi, which is just one of my favorite things that really, it just has me in awe, just hearing Naomi's story and like how she wants to be perceived and how she wants people to know her and how what she wants to call herself because of how depressed and how down she is. So we get to just see not only the story of Ruth and Boaz, but the story of redemption and a redeeming God and a God who is gracious to everyone. And you get to see Naomi grow back and follow back into God's steps, which I'm excited to start reading. So let's get into it, guys.
Yes, I'm excited. During the time of the judges, there was a famine in the land. A man left Bethlehem in Judah with his wife and 2 sons to stay in the territory of Moab. Moab for a while. The man's name was Elimelech. I can never say it, sorry. And his wife's name was Naomi. The names of his 2 sons were Malon and Chilion. They were Euphrates. Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
I always mess that up. They were Euphrates from Bethlehem and Judah. They entered the fields of Moab and settled there. Naomi's husband Elimelech died, and she was left with her 2 sons. Her sons took Moabite women as their wives. One was named Orpah. The second was named Ruth. After they lived in Moab about 10 years, both Malon and Chilion died, and the woman was left without her 2 children and without her husband.
Okay, so that we can just kind of go over quickly. It's just, the generation of that.
Yeah.
You just know her family. It just breaks it down.
But
I mean,
that's
pretty
good,
simple
yeah.
because you do need to know because especially because I mean it's the book is named Ruth, so you know who Ruth was married to and what just kind of happened and how her husband died. So Naomi herself has dealt with already a lot of loss, and we're only 5 verses in. It's just a lot of loss. She lost her husband, her 2 sons get married, and she lost both of her sons. But then, you know, both of those wives have lost their husbands. So just starting off, you get to already know just kind of the basis of who the family is, where they're from, where they live, and how Naomi has already had a lot of loss in her life so far, just from these few verses.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and start in verse 6.
Yeah, I can read. What verse do you want me to read to? Or just, I mean, I
Just
can read.
honestly, you just
read
read
the
what
rest.
you want to read.
All right.
You're good to
Yeah.
read.
Okay.
Or you can.
Okay. So verse 6. She and her daughters-in-law set out to return from the territory of Moab because she had heard in Moab that the Lord had paid attention to his people's needs by providing them food. She left the place where she had been living. Sorry, I lost my. She left the place where she had been living, accompanied by her 2 daughters-in-law, and traveled along the road leading back to the land of Judah. Naomi said to them, "Each of you go back to your mother's home. May the Lord show kindness to you as you have shown to the dead and to me. May the Lord grant each of you rest in this house of a new husband." She kissed them, and they wept loudly. They said to her, "We insist on returning with you to your people." But Naomi replied, "Return home, my daughters. Why do you want to go with me? Am I able to have any more sons who could become your husbands? Return home, my daughters. Go on, for I am too old to have another husband. Even if I thought there was still hope for me to have a husband tonight and to bear sons, would you be willing to wait for them to grow up? Would you restrain yourselves from remarrying? No, my daughters, my life is much too bitter for you to share, because the Lord's hand has turned against me." Again they wept loudly, and Orpah kissed her mother-in-law, but Ruth clung to her. Naomi said, "Look, your sister-in-law has gone back to her people and to her gods. Follow your sister-in-law."
I want to stop you there.
This is it.
Yeah.
So,
Quick
because
stop.
I want to say, just starting off, so now you're getting to see the relationship that Naomi has with both of the daughter-in-laws.
Yeah.
Yes.
And how they want to cling to her.
Mm-hmm.
They want to cling to her and they want to be like, no, because they don't want to leave her alone. But you can already see, she even mentions, you know, like, for I am bitter. Like, my life is too much bitter to share with you. And God has turned his hand against me. And which, as we know, God doesn't do that. God does not turn his hand against us because we are his child. He is our father and he loves us and he cares for us. Like, he'll never turn his hand against us. So you can already just see how hurt she is from the loss of her husband and her 2 sons. But you see the relationship that she has to each of the daughter-in-laws. And you can see how she tells Orpah, you know, she tells both Orpah and Ruth to go back to your family. Let your family, your mother love on you as your mother. Let your dad find you a husband, live amongst your people.
Yeah.
You grow with them, you follow them, you stay with them. But and Orpah, you know, is like, she takes it. She's like, okay, I'm gonna listen to Naomi. You know, I love her, but at the end of the day, she's like, oh, she's right. Like, I should go. Because you don't, like, if she finds a husband, you have to wait for the kids to grow up. It's just, you know, she's listing these, like, why would you do this? Why would you want to do this? And it's like, why would you want to leave her? You know, her whole thing is like, you should want to because I'm bitter. My life is bitter. So it's just seeing that Orpah is like, okay, you know, Naomi's right. Goodbye. Love you. Kisses her. Goes on her way. But Ruth, you can tell she doesn't want to. But Naomi's already like, she's telling her, go be like your sister-in-law. Go home. Go away. Figure it out on your own. Go back to your family. Let them help you. I don't want you necessarily. Is what she's pretty much saying is, I don't want you because I'm not going to marry somebody else. And if I do, I'm not going to be able to have kids. Or if I am able to bear a son again, you're going to have to wait for the kids to grow up, et cetera, et cetera.
I don't even think it's so much as that she didn't want her. It's just like, you're better off without me. You can go do better. Like, why would you stay here? Go find a new life for yourself.
Yeah, because she's like, you know, because she doesn't want them to be around her because she does already see her life as bitterness. And she's holding on to that because she thinks that God just left her there. He took everything that she loved. And she's like, well, why would you want to be around somebody who's bitter like me?
Yeah,
Right.
I also think it's crazy, like, if you relate it back to, like, today's time.
They got married so they married the Moabite
Yeah.
women. They lived in
Mhm.
Moab for like 10 years.
Yes.
And these two women have been without their family. They
Yeah.
have lived with Naomi and their
Mhm.
husbands and the, father, Elimelech. So they have lived with them. And then now she's like, well, you should go back to your family.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I wouldn't be able to leave my family in the
I was
first
gonna
place.
say I was
First
thinking the
place.
same thing
First
because
place.
even reading in here, and that's what they kind of touch on in the Bible. But yeah, but what it says here, and I really like this, and it says the relationship between Ruth and Naomi is realistic but remarkable. It involves the expected dose of awkward, but it also illustrates a profound truth. When God calls us to himself, even relational discomfort cannot keep us away, because it is your mother-in-law. And a lot of times, off the top of your head, when you think of, oh, me and my mother-in-law, you think of, we don't have the, like, a mother-in-law. A lot of people are like,
nowadays are
"Ugh,
like, oh,
my
my
mother-in-law,
mother-in-law.
like, ugh, like, don't want to deal with any of the
Yeah.
in-laws like that. I mean, I'm not married, obviously,
Yeah. But what a testament to, like, Ruth.
it is,
Like,
exactly.
That's so crazy. Like,
To have
her-
that relationship.
like, her mother-in-law must have been someone so special in her
Mhm.
life that she's like, I'm not leaving this woman. She will not
Yes.
go anywhere without me.
Right. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and continue then from verse 16. So let's see. But Ruth replied, don't plead with me to abandon you or to return and not follow you. For wherever you go, I will go, and wherever you live, I will live. Your people will be my people, and your God will be my God. Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. May the Lord punish me and do so severely, if anything but death separates you and me. So I'm going to go ahead and stop there. Just 'cause I do want to speak on that, because that, once again, it is showing how loyal and how loving Ruth is to Naomi. And it's like, yeah, it's like her relationship has to be so strong. But then at the end of the day, Ruth is choosing Naomi over her own mother. And if she has siblings, and her own siblings and her father, like, she doesn't even want to go back to them, because she has such a loyalty and connection to Naomi to want to stay with her. She doesn't want to leave her, because she doesn't want to. And it's just, her stating, like, your people be my people. I mean, it's just thinking, like, you're literally giving up everything you've ever known. You're leaving all these people, you're leaving all of them just to go and continue living with your mother-in-law. And because Naomi's going to go back to her heritage, her people. She's going to go back there because she has to find, somebody who has land. She has to find who's going to provide for them. So it's realizing that, like, Ruth is like, I'm going to give up everything to follow this woman, because her people are going to be my people. Like, I'm willing to sacrifice so much to go and be there with her, and just giving it up. Like, it's just amazing. You're literally moving away from everything you've ever known to go and be with your mother-in-law. And it's just, it really does. It just shows.
You're leaving everything
Yeah.
to go live with your mother-in-law.
Well, I think it also, like, speaks to her loyalty to, like, because Ruth's husband died and Naomi's son
Right.
died, but it's like when you get married and you, like, join your husband's family
Yes.
as much as he joins yours. So it's like that is your mother-in-law, but her entire family is gone too. So
Yeah.
it's like they didn't, like, out of support wanted to stay with her. But I mean, it's her mother-in-law, but that's her family too.
Yeah.
And if they had really been married 10 years, or I think it said 10 years, right?
Yeah, they lived. Yeah, because they
so
lived
if
there.
they were
for
married 10
so.
years, it's like it's been 10 years since she's been with her own family, which I mean, I still can't imagine.
Mhm.
But I think it really is a testament of her loyalty to, like, her deceased husband, and just to say,
Yeah.
like, hey, I'm gonna stick by your mom even though you're not here anymore, rather than just like, oh well, my husband's gone, so I'm gonna go back to my family now.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it says a whole lot about Ruth's character too.
Yes. All right, so I'm going to continue then in 18 just to finish that up. When Naomi saw that Ruth was determined to go with her, she stopped talking to her. The two of them traveled until they came to Bethlehem. When they entered Bethlehem, the whole town was excited about their arrival, and the local women exclaimed, "Can this be Naomi?" And Naomi then says, "Don't call me Naomi, call me Mara," which Mara means bitter, which if you go back to previously, that's when she talks about, for the Lord has made me bitter. So that's where Mara comes from. She answered, for the Almighty has made me very bitter. I went away full, but the Lord has brought me back empty. why do you call me Naomi, since the Lord has opposed me and the Almighty has afflicted me? So Naomi came back from the territory of Moab with her daughter-in-law Ruth, the Moabitess. They arrived in Bethlehem and at the beginning of the barley harvest. So they're back, in Naomi's hometown, Bethlehem, and everybody, seems so excited to see her, and she was just like not having it. She was like, no, like, I'm not Naomi anymore. I'm the most bitter person I know because the Lord has turned his hand against me. That's still what is in her mind, is that God turned against her and said, I'm taking everything away from you. You don't even have me. That's what she's thinking in her mind and her heart, but that's not the fact. And it's also the fact that, Ruth decides she's going to go with her. And what does Naomi do? Gives her the silent treatment. Can you imagine?
That's
traveling
wild.
all the way from Moab to Bethlehem. I don't know how far that is, but I bet that's far.
That's like
traveling.
That's
that
the
far,
mother-in-law stories you hear nowadays.
Yeah. Traveling that far, and you just have to literally travel in silence.
Emma couldn't do it.
No, I cannot do it.
Emma cannot.
But literally, I'm giddy.
I'm just picturing that one scene in Shrek where Shrek's grumpy, and then you're just like donkey behind.
Yeah. Are we there?
I'm just
are we there yet?
Like when you're with your sisters and you scream and yell and fight, and then you're just in that moment of silence for maybe 2 hours, maybe 2 days. You never know.
Yes, but then after that, it's like nothing happened.
True. Then there's nothing happened.
Yeah. So I'm just like thinking, in my head, I'm like, oh my gosh, traveling, because like I said, I cannot tell you how far Moab is from Bethlehem. I'm gonna have to look at a map because now I'm really curious.
Yes.
I will have to go look at the map later. But I'm like, that has to be far.
Research this.
And I was like, yeah, honestly,
go
please
for it.
do.
Pull it up.
Why you do that? I'll finish.
Yeah.
So just really thinking she chooses to go with her mother-in-law. She leaves her family behind now. She's no longer in Moab. She's gone. She's going to Bethlehem with Ruth. To then get a silent treatment.
Subtitle
Exact
because
okay.
exactly.
Is it
So-
closer to what we think?
Hold on. The distance from Bethlehem to Moab is roughly 50 miles. But wait, I didn't even ask about Ruth or anything. All I said was how far is Moab from Bethlehem. This journey would have taken Ruth and Naomi 7 to 10 days on foot.
Because I would assume that
the
they'd be
hours.
walking.
Yeah.
So okay, 7 to 10 days is silent
7
treatment.
days. Yep.
While walking on foot. Could you imagine?
Because she's bitter.
But could you imagine just 7 to 10 days?
No.
Ruth
I cannot.
just hanging
And
her
Ruth did
head,
that.
walking behind Naomi.
And she did that.
And that's the thing is Ruth sat with that still.
She
Because
did,
at the end of the day, she meant what she said when, where you go, I'll follow. Your people are going to be my people. Your God's going to be my God. She's going to learn these new things.
Where you die, I will die.
Literally.
And there I will be buried. Let me tell you, I mean it whenever I say it. She just said it.
Just to get a silent treatment.
Yeah. I was going to look up what the name Naomi means, and then I found it. Naomi means pleasant. So she's
it's
why
a complete
are you
opposite.
calling me?
Yes, it's literally complete opposite. That's one thing that always stuck to me, because when I first originally read Ruth and I was like, Naomi, because I was curious, I was like, what does it mean? And pleasant, or it's more of a happy thing. And then you research what Mara is, and that is literally meaning bitter.
She's so blunt about it too. She's like, why do you call me Naomi? Yes. The Lord has opposed me.
Yes, and it's and then
they were supposed to know,
right? They're supposed to know. That's how you know.
Yeah. Don't call me Naomi. You should have known better.
Walk 7 to 10 days. The word hasn't exactly made it back home yet.
It hasn't been back home yet. No, and it's and God is the one who changes names in the Bible. He's the one who says, I'm gonna turn you to you. He changes names. Well, he did not change.
The Lord did
Naomi's
not call
name.
you Mara.
And Naomi, she did that on her own, her own terms.
Will,
She was like, I'm gonna change my name because he turned against me, which he didn't. So it's just kind of eye opening for me, because it's everybody goes through those times where you do feel alone, whether or not you have lost, or you're just in that valley that you feel so alone, and you're you kind of feel bitter towards the Lord. I feel I've definitely felt bitter towards the Lord, and well, why am I even here? Why am I in this season of drought? Why am I in such a drought, Lord? Can't you help me out of it? But it's because I'm not seeking him. So it just kind of makes me think back to I feel we've all been in the shoes of Naomi or of Mara in that sense. We've all been in those shoes of that
We've all been
bitterness.
Mara.
Yeah. Anyways, does somebody want to continue then?
Now Naomi had a relative on her husband's side. He was a prominent man of noble character from Elimelech's family. His name was Boaz. Ruth the Moabitess asked Naomi, "Will you let me go into the fields and gather fallen grain behind someone with whom I find favor?" Naomi answered her, "Go ahead, my daughter." So Ruth left and entered the field to gather grain behind the harvesters. She happened to be in the portion of the field belonging to Boaz, who was from Elimelech's family. Later, when Boaz arrived from Bethlehem, he said to the harvesters, "The Lord be with you." "The Lord bless you," they replied. Boaz asked his servant who was in charge of the harvesters, "Whose young woman is this?" The servant answered, "She is the young Moabite woman who returned with Naomi from the territory of Moab." She asked, "Will you let me gather fallen grain among the bundles behind the harvesters?" She came and has been on her feet since early morning, except that she rested a little in the shelter. Then Boaz said to Ruth, "Listen, my daughter, don't go to gather grain in another field and don't leave this one, but stay here close to my female servants. See which field they are harvesting and follow them. Haven't I ordered the young men not to touch you? When you are thirsty, go and drink from the jars the young men have filled." She fell face down, bowed to the ground, and said, "Why have I found favor with you, so that you notice me, although I am a foreigner?" Boaz answered her, "Everything you have done for your mother-in-law since your husband's death has been fully reported to me. How you left your father and mother in your native land, and how you came to a people that you didn't previously know. May the Lord reward you for what you have done, and may you receive a full reward from the Lord God of Israel, under those whose wings you have come for refuge."
That's like really good. I was reading in the Bible study, and it was like kind of called it providence, and it ends up actually talking about, because we don't know the plans, so it goes back to Romans 8:28. We know that God has plans for us, whether or not we can see the plans or if we even want to believe that he has the plans. But it just kind of shows here in Ruth chapter 2, the first 3 verses, that Naomi ends up having somebody on her husband's side who is willing to step up and be there, and it kind of just introduces him as who he is and everything, and what they're gonna do, and then get to learn more about Boaz, and then you see Boaz just being respectful to Ruth and treating her, and just saying everything you have done for your mother-in-law since your husband's death has been fully reported to me. And it's just kind of, it's awesome. It's so he's already heard about Ruth. What does that mean? It kind of makes you think what all is gonna happen, but it just kind of shows how God he already has Naomi and Ruth's plans just laid out for the rest of them. Everything is laid out in front of them. It's just whether or not are they going to follow those plans and his ways. Are they going to learn that? And it is also kind of just understanding God's grace, because you do see Naomi being bitter towards Ruth, and later you'll see her be she is more bitter towards everybody around her in general. She doesn't want to talk to anybody. She doesn't want to be around people. She doesn't want to do anything, herself. So it is just really understanding God continues to give grace upon grace upon grace upon grace, and he's willing to give that to her. And it's just understanding that and seeing the grace that is being given to them just over again, and how later on she'll understand the grace, she'll take the grace, and she'll learn from it. But I really like how it introduces Boaz and explains how he is, but you can already just see how he talks to them, and how he talks to Ruth, and he's don't go to another field. There's no need for that. You're gonna
stay here. Stay here. We'll take care of you.
You're safe in this field. Take my harvest. Let my harvest be your harvest. It's just the way he's willing to give everything to one another, and how he's just hey, I want to help you, because I can already see how you helped your mother-in-law in a time of need, and you didn't leave her. You didn't leave her alone.
And I think it's important to, I feel it's Boaz talking, but it's almost through the lens of God, because it's Ruth didn't follow her mother-in-law because she was seeking some reward or anything. She's heartbroken too. She's a widow too, but she still went through that in her loyalty to her mother-in-law, and she was that's my family, and I'm not leaving you.
Yeah.
She chose that family, and she was dead set on staying with her mother-in-law, and then she didn't expect the whole town or whatever to hear about this, and then she's just going on about her life, and she's hey, I want to help harvest in this field, and Boaz is I already know you, I already see you, I see the heartbreak you've been through, I see how loyal you were, we're gonna take care of you now.
Right.
And Boaz met her kind of like God. He met her where
So,
she's at.
I love that you said that, because I was reading in here and you're saying like he like met her like as if like God was there, or like almost like he's speaking it, but it's almost like it's
God's
God saying it.
through his
And
mouth.
no, literally it says in the Bible study, it says Boaz's treatment of Ruth is a beautiful picture of who Jesus is to us. Jesus calls us to eat and drink at his table. Eat at his table and drink the water of life freely. Jesus brings beauty from our brokenness. Jesus gives us dignity. Jesus is our protector. He takes us in as foreigners who are slaves to sin, and makes us daughters of God, of Christ. So it's literally you are seeing Boaz doing the same thing. He's saying, "Hey, you're poor. I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna make you wealthy. Mm-hmm. You're hungry. You're gonna eat at my table. You're gonna drink my water. You're not gonna go to another field. You're gonna be at my field." He's just loving on her as if Jesus loves on us, and how he does on us. So I like that you said that, because it really is. That's what it is. It's God is speaking through Boaz, and you are seeing a Christ-like individual.
Yeah, to say his provision. Boaz was God's provision for Ruth, as Jesus is God's provision for us.
Yeah, that's good.
That's what I
didn't even see that.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. That's good too. And I was reading up. But Christ's love lifts our head and tells us who we are in him. We are his. We are not empty, and we're certainly not foreigners. We're covered by the blood of Christ and adopted into a family of God. Like Ruth, we are now a blood relative of Christ, and nothing can undo that. That's good. "My Lord," she said, "I have found favor with you, for you have comforted and encouraged your servant, although I am not like one of your female servants." At mealtime, Boaz told her, "Come over here and have some bread, and dip it in the vinegar sauce." So she sat beside the harvesters, and he offered her roasted grain. She ate and was satisfied, and had some left over. When she got up to gather her grain, Boaz ordered his young men, "Let her even gather grain among the bundles, and don't humiliate her. Pull out some stalks from the bundles up for her, and leave them for her to gather. Don't rebuke her." So Ruth gathered grain in the field until evening. She beat out what she had gathered, and was about 26 quarts of barley. She picked up the grain and went into the town, where her mother-in-law saw what she had gleaned. She brought out what she had left over from her meal and gave it to her. Her mother-in-law said to her, "Where did you gather barley today? And where did you work? May the Lord bless the man who noticed you." Ruth told her mother-in-law, whom she had worked with, and said, "The name of the man I worked with today is Boaz." Then Naomi said to her daughter-in-law, "May the Lord bless him." Wait, I want to take a quick pause real quickly, because I actually like that, because, I had mentioned, like, Naomi had changed her name to Mara. God did not. And then you're reading the scripture back, and you realize how he has yet to call her Mara. Yeah. He has yet to say, then Mara said. She's the only person who called her Mara, so I just wanted to say that, because I was like, I just realized that. I'm like, of course, that's something new. I just realized, like, it's not saying then Mara said it. It's saying, no, he is saying,
yeah, but I thought we were told to call you Mara.
The child. Yeah, it's like, exactly. He's like straight up saying, no, my child is Naomi. Like, Naomi said this. Sorry. Anyways.
Also, like, how it matters what Jesus thinks about us. Like,
right.
She's saying, "Call me Mara because I'm bitter," and Jesus says, like, "No, you're not bitter.
You are. Yeah, you're Naomi.
I'm not speaking that onto you."
Because that's good.
Yeah.
Sorry, I like that. I realized that though, because I was like, that's good, because I hadn't noticed that until now. But okay. Then Naomi said to her daughter-in-law, "May the Lord bless him, because he has not abandoned his kindness to the living or the dead." Naomi continued, "The man is a close relative. He is one of our family redeemers." There's the word redeemer again. Ruth the Moabitess said, "He also told me, 'Stay with my young men until they have finished all of my harvest.' So Naomi said to her daughter-in-law Ruth, 'My daughter, it is good for you to work with his female servants, so that nothing will happen to you in another field.' Ruth stayed close to Boaz's female servants and gathered grain until the barley and the wheat harvests were finished, and she lived with her mother-in-law." So you're kind of seeing that relationship almost grow again. Mm-hmm. And maybe Naomi's not so bitter, or she's starting to kind of see
the loyalty.
The loyalty of Ruth, and also kind of the loyalty of Christ. Yeah. And maybe she realized, like, oh, he didn't turn his hand against me because you placed one of my family members here to be like, hey, like, oh, Ruth, I've heard what you've done for your mother-in-law, and I see you. Like, I see you. I've heard about you. I want to protect you, you know, stay here, stay on my land. And then, you know, now you see Naomi even saying, it's no longer my daughter-in-law, it is saying, my daughter, it is good for you to work with this female servant. She wants her to be safe. She wants to take care of her. So she is like, you know, work with the female servant so nothing were to happen to you on another man's land or another man doing, you know, anything like that. It's just, you can tell that relationship that was once there is now being restored. And you're just seeing, you're seeing that connection kind of come back and being like, hey, that's like, I'm here.
Another thing where it's almost like telling the story of Christ, where it was like, okay, Naomi, you're feeling a little bitter right now. That's okay. You don't have to love me all that much, but I'm still here. I never left you. I still love you anyway. And just like Ruth acting with the love of Christ.
Yes. And then even just mentioning like how she is bitter. She's Mara, but she was, you know, saying like, oh, you know, like, oh, Boaz, he's a close resident. He's one of our family redeemers. Like, yeah, I'm glad you found him. Like, he's a good man. Like, yeah, we definitely need to continue working with him, continue doing what you're doing. And honestly, but little does Naomi know that she's just loving on Naomi. Ruth is just loving on Naomi and saying, no, I'm going to take care of you. I want to be with you. I meant what I said when we were in Moab. I meant what I said when I was going to follow you, and your people are going to become my people. Like, she meant that. And it's just, I really enjoy like getting able to see just in the little bit of time that we've read, just kind of seeing already Naomi kind of being like, like dusting it off her shoulders. Like, you know, kind of like, oh, okay. Like,
I don't have to be so defensive. Like, somebody is genuinely here to love me.
Yes.
And even in the midst of her terrible situation.
Yeah. I've always kind of wondered, like, because a lot of times, you know, when you're hurt or when a lot of things go bad around you, you're like, is it me? Like, I don't want to lose somebody else. So I wonder if she also became so bitter or was like, I don't want y'all to come with me, because what if she thought like something's going to happen to y'all?
Yeah.
I've always kind of wondered that, but I'm like, I don't know.
I think that's kind of what she was getting at, where she was just like, basically like, you need to go home. Like, there's nothing for you.
Yeah. Right. Like, I don't want to bring you down with because like I have nothing. I don't want y'all to have nothing too. Yeah. Like, y'all go and remarry. Y'all go do it. I'm too old for that kind of thing, and I'm not going to. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Stay tuned for part 2, where we continue our Bible study through Ruth.
Yes. And if you have any prayer request or anything y'all want us to discuss or just be there for you, please let us know. We really do want to be here for y'all, like we are here for one another. All right. We love y'all.
Bye.